You need more time?
No.
Well, too late because it's starting.
Oh! All right, y'all, welcome back to Chasing Dreams Homestead. Today we're up in Seymour, Indiana, and we're going to interview Dan and Courtney from Prestige Farm Wide. Get to know a little bit about them and what their goals are and their operation. Dan, I want to hear what your plans are, what your goals are for this operation. You guys are doing a lot, a whole lot actually. How many acres you guys sitting on?
We got like 11 and a quarter. We just got done with an eminent domain where the government so graciously purchased a quarter of an acre back from us.
Well, I hope it worked out for your favor.
Yeah, we ended up getting like our fence replaced.
Nice.
So
nice. You guys do a lot with that 11 acres though.
Yeah, we do. We got 30 goats.
Yeah, about.
We raised 3 cows this year. We have 1 left to go to slaughter here in January.
Yeah. You got a whole website set up where folks can order meat and whatnot. Did you set it up or did Dan?
She did.
That's awesome. The electronic order form and all that. And that guy sent you his meat pricing sheet. He was like, yeah, we had talked about doing that instead of having the on-site farm store. Because then it's you're letting people order anytime, 24/7, 365 kind of, right?
Yes. And I like it because like meeting people and people coming here, like it's just easier to drop it all off, I think. So just better for planning.
Yeah. So where did you get that idea for that? Was that something you had seen elsewhere, or was it just a brainchild event and you were like, oh, this is a good way to not have to have a farm store and we can do a website or whatnot?
I don't know. We have the website anyways, so then I just did the form and I thought it would just be easier that way. Just online ordering seems to be easier, so.
I checked it out. It's pretty user-friendly.
Thanks. I'm glad you like it.
I mean, it was pretty simple. Plug and play. You know, how many pounds of this you want and whatnot. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah, a few people have ordered already, so it seems to be working.
Sweet. How long have you guys been homesteading?
Since like 2015, 2014, 7
Yeah,
8 years.
I think 2014 is when we got our first chickens.
Oh, the gateway animal.
Yeah.
We got the Great Pyrenees first, and
Really?
then they needed a job.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
We ended up with chickens.
They've got to have a job or then they get mischievous and bored, right?
Yeah, Dwight picked on her really bad.
Yeah. And the lady we bought our first chickens from, she's like, you'll be back, because she had goats. She's like, you'll definitely be back because chickens are the gateway, so you'll be calling me about goats. And then
That's
we did.
very
We've
true.
gotten like 6 goats from her now.
No.
So
So what like spurred you guys to start homesteading?
I think it's mostly just like the values, like teaching your children the value of a life of an animal, you know, from, you know, a chicken, like, you know, from egg to dinner.
Right? Yeah.
So the excuse that I used to get him to let me buy chickens is that we had a bunch of ticks. And so we were tractor supply one day and I was like, oh look, they would eat ticks. And then we came home with chicks.
They do. They're awesome for that. The guy next door to our homestead I think he's got a 15 acre pasture that he leases. And he's like, I don't care if your chickens come over here, it keeps ticks off my cows. Like, yeah, they're good for it. I don't know. So you guys got into homestead in 2014, 2015. What different experiences have you had along the way? Do you feel like you're building momentum, or have you had some setbacks that you had to readjust aim? Like what have you guys experienced?
We had a lot of setbacks. You were talking earlier, like, about regrets, and I think we went too big too fast. Like, so we went from 2
Mama Dreams
acres.
is shaking her head on that one.
We went from 2 acres to this 11 and a quarter, and it's just like, holy shit, man. Like, we needed a tractor. You need
So much more room for activity.
Yeah. That's how it all started.
But even on the 2 acres, we would do that. Like, I think our first batch of chickens was like, ended up being like 100 chickens.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't just get a few chickens and try it out. Like, we just.
Were these egg layers or meat birds?
So
or?
they were supposed to be egg layers, and they were just like heritage breeds. But then we went to Tractor Supply and got them. And I think there was like a 25-cent chick sale or something, so I just bought everything, and they were all boys. So we had like 100 roosters that we took to the processor because we didn't know how to process them at the time. And we wasted a bunch of money, and we don't like the heritage breed chickens, which we've discussed. So
Yeah.
that was.
So you guys, your preferred method, you said, is to skin them instead of plucking them like we do. Is that what you
The
said?
heritage breeds,
heritage,
yeah.
yeah.
We
Oh,
usually
okay.
just skin them.
So if it's a meat bird, you like to pluck them out?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That
For
skin's
sure.
good.
I'm a fan of the skin. I like to leave that skin on.
Yeah.
It keeps the fat layer there and keeps the juice in. I'm a fan of the skin for sure. So, have you guys played with different kind of feeds and whatnot over the years? Have you found one that you like best, like an overall general purpose chicken feeder?
We go back and forth on the
Yeah.
feeds. We used to go to that feed store in Memphis and get feed because we tried to like support local and stuff, but we honestly didn't have very good luck on it. So we just usually get whatever's cheap. It seems like they do the best on. We don't really see any different results. Like if they're molting or something, I'll throw catfish food in there or
Catfish
something else
food,
that's
really?
high protein. Yeah, like cat food.
Oh, cat food.
No, or catfish food. Catfish food is really cheap and it's really high protein. It's like 30% or something.
I didn't know that. So like the floating pellets?
Yeah.
Learn something new, y'all. Check it out. That's awesome.
If we see the chickens struggling with something, then we'll throw something else in there. Like in the winter when they're cold, they get more cracked corn.
We played with the fermented feed for a while too.
We did, yeah.
It's really good, but it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Especially when you have a lot of them.
yeah.
Yep.
I
Who
see
has time to
people.
ferment that many
I see
gallons of feed
people
a
on
week?
YouTube doing it in like little jars, and they're like,
Yeah,
"Look, we're
that's
fermenting
cute.
food
Look
for
at
our
the tree,
chickens."
yeah.
Yeah, but then you have like 100 chickens.
Yeah, it's not a bad thing to give them as a treat or a supplement, but it's definitely not something that for, like you said, 100 chickens.
Yeah, we did it in 5-gallon buckets, and it worked pretty good. But in the wintertime, also, you can't really ferment feed unless you bring it inside and it's warm.
And it smells
And
funny.
so,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's
Smells funny. That's interesting though that you guys tried the fermenting feed, and today you're going to learn to ferment some garlic. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
cool. That's pretty cool. Kind of came full circle. You fed the animals, and now have you guys done any fermenting of your, ate any fermented feeds though for yourselves, like any
I think I
fermented
tried
artichokes
sauerkraut
or anything?
before.
Like kimchi.
Kimchi's the bomb. Yes, I love kimchi. Do you like it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I like the spicy kimchi the best. Like if they really kick the heat in there, it's like you got to wipe the sweat off your brow. That's the good stuff. I'm all about the spicy foods though. That's why I brought you some hot sauce. I hope you enjoy it. Well, you guys have a beautiful place out here. We've been out here before. This is the first time I've seen the neighbor's house because it's winter time. Yeah.
You can't see them. Yeah.
I'm looking forward to coming back and checking out the creek you guys were talking about. We've got the snow falling. It's cold enough. I thought we would get some accumulation, but thankfully we're not. Just because we don't want the roads being nasty on the drive back. But I look forward to seeing the epic sleighing videos you guys do because you were talking about your sweet sleighing hill. What plans do you guys have for your property that you haven't gotten to do yet?
A lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Mostly, like, I think our focus right now is getting shelter on the other side of our property because it's weird. Our driveway splits the property into two pieces.
Right. Yeah.
And on the left side, there's zero shelter minus an IBC tote that we got from you that we turned into a goat house.
They work good though.
No, yeah.
Yeah, and we have something for the cow right now, but it's just temporary. We were hoping it wouldn't get super cold before she goes to the processor, but we'll probably put up some kind of temporary shelter over there. Something more permanent would be good though.
Yeah.
I think we need to do like a lot of infrastructure improvements, get water to places that we don't have water, and
That makes chore time a lot better.
Yeah.
so and gravel pads because right now there's a lot of mud and it's not very convenient to do chores in the mud.
I think that's just honestly part of the livestock though, unless you do like a dry feed lot or something. But
True.
Are you guys a proponent for the dry feed
No.
lots? I'm not.
No.
That's kind of why we got into homesteading too, because you asked that earlier. Like, I watched all those crazy PETA videos. That stuff is like exaggerated and it's like factory farming and there's a million chickens in little cages, and we decided that's probably not the best thing.
No.
Or like the antibiotics and stuff, which legally they can't do, but if they have a vet that's giving it to them in like a feed directive, they can. So that was a lot of why we got into it also.
I don't know about that Memphis store you mentioned, but the feed mill that we have frequented, they're able to give antibiotic feed and whatnot with a vet script.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean it's fed. It's definitely fed, or they wouldn't carry it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know too, like even at Tractor Supply, you can get hormone implants for the cattle.
Really?
Yeah.
Is
they're
that to
just
bring
like,
them into heat so they're?
they're like growth hormone implants so that the
Oh.
cattle grow quicker and better.
Wow.
So yeah, we didn't.
Yeah, I don't want to eat stuff with growth hormones in it.
Yeah.
That's
I
why
don't
we
think I
got
need that.
high school boys with full beards like us, brother. We didn't have any of that when I was in high school. We had one kid, and he was the guy that got the beer for us. Matt Simpson. I'll never forget you, brother. If you watch this, I remember you. Yeah, that's cool, though. I understand. That was the big push for us, too. We wanted a cleaner food source for our kids and something that our kids were able to see the full cycle. You know, they understood the work that we put into it. They understood the caring for the animal and the fact that at the end of the day, the animal was going to take care of us too. That was big for us, big time. I like to say that happy meat tastes better. I don't know if it's true or not, but you know, I think if an animal lives a good life and isn't stressed out before, you know, it's harvested, it's gonna taste better.
Totally agree.
I know you were in the military like me. Did you ever do any time in Korea?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so we won't go down that story then about the stress that some of those animals go through on those animal farms over there. That's just, you know, on an early morning PT run, there's nothing worse than hearing an animal cry. But it's different cultures, so that's, you know, that's their thing. Let's see what else you guys got going on. I know you're trying to get into the farmers markets pretty heavy. This was your first year in the farmers market? Yeah. So what were your biggest takeaways from it? I know you probably have some likes and some dislikes.
Yeah, like more food, more quick, like definitely. And we thought like, you know, like the purple peppers and odd colored tomatoes and stuff would sell faster, but no, like, so don't even waste your time if you're planning on going to the farmers markets.
That was the biggest thing for me. I think I told you that is like grow orange carrots, grow green bell peppers, because you know, the purple carrots or the purple bell peppers, just nobody really cared to buy.
Even like the gold cherry tomatoes. People are like, well, tomatoes aren't yellow. Not good ones.
So I think that just is more of like a specific area type experience.
Maybe.
Because I've been to other farmers markets where the wild stuff can't stay on the table long enough. Yeah, I know you guys probably saw the interview with Tad down at Gypsy Rain Organics. He grows some funky stuff, and people are nuts about it.
I think you definitely have to have the customer base.
Yeah.
For us too, like getting into selling meat there's so many hurdles and like barriers to entry. It's just ridiculous. I'm super happy with the politics in Indiana, but not so much like how hard it is to get food from the farmer directly to the consumer. So there's just a lot to learn and a lot of hurdles to jump through, I think.
They really do make it hard to be a small farmer.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's just state-based. I think it's nationwide.
Yeah, true.
And I'm sure that there's some money being handed in legislators' pockets to make it hard for little guys to be up and coming. But yeah, so it's a steep learning curve to learn your particular farmers market crowd. Are you guys going to go back to that same farmers market next year, or are you guys going to hit a different one?
I think we're going to go back to the same one.
And which one is that you guys like?
It's Columbus.
The Columbus Farmers Market. So if you guys and gals are watching this, Prestige Farm Wide will be at the Columbus Farmers Market in 2023. What's the first opening month?
April?
I think it's May. I think it might be the first weekend in May. So, and we're actually going to expand this year. So we're going to do 2 booths instead of 1. That way he can separate like the woodcraft stuff from the food stuff because
gotta pay for that badass CNC machine, right? Yeah. All right, so Courtney, I want to hear how you do it, Mama. You are a career lady. You guys have kiddos, and it seems like every time I talk to you, you're doing chores. So how do you juggle everything?
I'm not sure. I don't do a good job sometimes. Like sometimes the farm stuff will struggle or the kids. Dan helps a lot, obviously, and then a lot of times like we'll take vacation days from work, so our PTO is usually spent doing farm stuff, which isn't really much of a break, but it's what we like to do. So and we do it together, so it's fun. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm always running around forgetting stuff or being like last minute or late. So I don't know that I have a good answer to that, honestly.
I can relate to that, though. Me and Mama Dreams, good Lord, if we were able to take all those PTO days for vacation time, it's I don't know about you guys, but it's like we're so busy, and we're like, oh, this is piling up. We don't have any time to take care of it. Oh, we got to take a paid time off day to just get it done. And so that's usually what ends up happening. We have all these grand ideas of we're going to go on a trip or we're going to just spend the day being lazy at the lake, but it's like, oh, we need to take time off and fix this or, you know, build that or whatever the case may be. So it sounds like you guys do the same thing.
Yep.
And we always underestimate how much time something is going to take.
Oh, yeah.
It's the worst thing ever. So
I think I get chewed out enough from the family on that one. I'm like, this shit only took 2 hours. Here we are, like 10 hours later, frustrated, trying to get it done. It's like, oh, the day's almost over.
yes.
I can understand that for sure.
But once you do stuff like once, the next time it goes faster usually, and it's more like what you expected. I remember the first time I processed chickens, I was watching a YouTube video and like doing it step by step, and I'm pretty sure it took like 2 hours to do one chicken, and now we can do a lot of chickens in 2 hours. So.
Oh yeah, absolutely. We got a whole little assembly line going. I tried to get the kids the other day while I had to work late. I was like, we got some chickens to do. You guys, I'll pay you to do them because my kids can do chickens, and that's for me. That's like a testimony. We're doing it right. When my kids can go out there on their own and harvest a chicken, I know they can feed themselves, and that makes me proud. But they were like, no, we should all do it together. I was like, well, I got to work late. If you guys get this done, then tomorrow we have time for this. And they were like, no. Mama Dream says that I'm the only one that can scald the chicken right for the pluck out. I'm like, you just swirl it for 15 seconds. But apparently it's, it requires a special person to scald the chicken. I don't know.
Everyone has their own specific job.
Yeah, we have it set up pretty good. Sophie's a gutter because she's little. Are you guys getting the kids involved in the processing of the chickens?
Ollie plucks.
Yeah.
That's about it though.
Are you guys still hand plucking? Or?
Yes.
No.
Oh, wow.
We're pretty efficient on it, surprisingly. But yeah, a plucker is definitely in.
Now I know why you were talking about the hand arthritis.
We're trying to get our farmers market to let us sell chickens through like an Indiana exemption if you process under a certain amount of chickens. But they want them taken to a USDA processor, which isn't cost efficient. So if we can
It's not required either, though.
Yeah, it's not. It's just our rules, I guess. So if we could get them to do that, we'll definitely be buying a plucker like ASAP.
No.
A plucker is a worthwhile investment,
Yeah.
guys. I'm here to tell you. When the pandemic first kicked off, we had one ordered, and we were waiting. We were so excited, and then they canceled our order. We were like, what in the world? And I just happened to luck in to stopping at a random store, and they had one in, and I was like, I gotta get this right now. And it has saved us so many hours. We used to hand pluck everything, and it's a task for sure. And my hat's off to the old timers, the pioneers that they didn't have pluckers.
Yeah.
Those people, they were hardcore.
And that's why we skin the heritage breed birds, because they are so much harder to hand pluck than just.
Skin just tears anyway.
Yeah, well, even with a plucker, the heritage ones, they're still like.
Yeah.
It just seems like a dark feathered bird in general is harder to get plucked out.
The Cornish crosses, you can almost just like rub their skin.
Or they barely have any feathers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much easier.
Yeah. We do enjoy processing the Cornish crosses more, but I still hold true to I like the heritage breed taste better. I think they develop more of a flavor. That's just my opinion.
I can see that.
I can see the pro to the meat though. There's a lot more meat on those Cornishes for sure. So what kind of homesteading things do you guys do beyond growing vegetables and selling things at the farmers market? What do you guys do preserving wise for your homestead? Like, do you guys put a lot of stuff in the freezer? You can a lot of stuff. What do y'all do?
Right now, we put a lot in the freezer. I didn't get around to canning a lot this summer, so our freezers are full. There's hundreds of pounds of tomatoes in our big deep freeze, which I had planned on canning, but now at this point, I pulled so many out. I'll probably just keep pulling them out of the freezer and using them. But yeah,
Didn't
now.
you make like homemade Parmesan sauce or something?
Yeah, I
chicken
made
parm
chicken parm one day for you. Remember that sauce that I
Was it
made?
good?
Yeah.
She sent us a video, and the video looked awesome. I was like, you can make that from scratch. Wow. Yeah, that's awesome.
But we hope to can more. It's just we would like to get an outdoor kitchen set up here, actually, with like a cover. Because canning in the summer makes your house so hot and miserable. So we haven't did it at this house yet. We've been here 2 years and we haven't canned yet inside. So.
Hey, we're with you. We canned more this year than we've canned in past years, but it's still like the juggling act. If you're a working mom and dad, raising kids and trying to homestead, where do you find the time? Sometimes we kind of catch ourselves being a little bit envious of the folks that have more time to get more of that stuff done. But then we just bring ourselves back to our reality, what our life is.
Yeah.
So I totally understand that. Do you guys do any dehydrating?
No.
We have a
thought about it,
dehydrator that we plan to use, but no.
Yeah.
He used to make deer jerky, I think, and he made some kind of other jerky, beef jerky.
Yeah, beef sticks.
Yeah, but that's all we dehydrated.
That's a great space saver, like being able to dehydrate stuff, shrink it down, keep it in the jars or whatnot. We got that nice Excalibur this year, and that's helped us a lot. I can find time to chop something up and toss it in a dehydrator a lot easier than I can find time to go through the steps of canning stuff.
That makes
So
sense.
that's worked well for us. I think we turned like 50 pounds of bell pepper into like 5-quart jars.
Wow.
Wow.
Just chopped them up, tossed them in there, yeah. And so now when we want to use them in soups and chilies and stuff, we just throw them in while it's cooking and they reconstitute, and it's a bell pepper.
That's
Nice.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
So 2 booths next year at the farmer's market. Dan's got woodwork. Let's hear about the woodwork. What all do you make?
Signs, custom signs, American flags,
I know. I keep trying to trade your wife some chickens for something. Yeah.
coasters, cutting boards. I mean, if it can be made out of wood, I'll try.
There you go.
We'll get him to trade you a flag for some Cornish cross next
Yeah.
year when we finally get cages made.
Yeah. You guys were talking about getting some tractors. I think
Yeah.
we had a failed experiment. We tried our best to pasture raise the Cornish crosses, and it just didn't work. They've got to have food poured to them all the time.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We tried to like let them go like our regular free ranging chickens, and I think we lost like 60. It was sad. We were
gosh.
like, dude.
They are really dumb. We had this one time whenever a storm was rolling in, and we had them with our egg layers, and we had this big hill at the old house. And I had to run outside because all the Cornish crosses were just laying down on the backside of the hill where the water like drained off, and they're just out there drowning in the storm.
Yeah,
And I was like catching them all and throwing them into the coop. They're really dumb. They have a death wish, but
they do.
they
like,
taste really good. They need
they
tractors.
don't even know to peck or anything. Like they don't scratch nothing. They're just like, dude.
We had tractors at the old house and we left them because the people wanted them.
Yeah.
And then we had planned, that's one of the things that we failed to do, that we had planned to do, is get tractors pretty quick, but just everything else has taken precedent. So
Mhm. So, is there a specific tractor style you guys like best?
he made one at the old house that was like awesome. We called it the a-hole cage because when an animal was being a jerk, we would like put him in there, but it held everything. It would hold like the goats and the dogs.
The goats would stand on it.
But it was
Wouldn't cave in.
it was really heavy though, and
Yeah.
it was hard for me to move. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't move it by myself. So this time, like something that's lighter and easier for me to move is like top of the list. But he over engineers things, which is good. That cage lasted forever. What did we do with it? We took it somewhere.
I think I cut it in half and then turned it into like a more movable chicken tractor.
Yeah, but it lasted forever. So just hopefully this time something a little more.
Yeah, I was
light.
curious since you guys did a lot of tractor raising and whatnot, because we've not done a lot of tractor raising, but we've got an opportunity to run some chickens on a pasture and a tractor next year. So I'm still like up in the air. I've looked at the different hoop ones, the Johnson Sosovich or however you say his name, the Joel Salatin ones. I've looked at all of them. I think the hoop tractors are just the simplest ones with the cattle panels and whatnot.
Yeah, but we
It
made
seems so
those
simple.
here. So he made one of those here actually. And the meat birds we got were really flighty the first time we moved here.
Flighty
so-
meat birds.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
they
they
would
flew
roost on
on
the
top
cattle
of it, and like 10 of them roosted up there, and they were so fat that it caused it to like cave
Oh
in,
yeah,
and it
yeah,
was
I
like
can
an
see
M.
that. Yeah.
So we do need something more sturdy than that, I
Yeah.
think. Or just like some more bracing, because he just did that in a super big hurry. It was freezing cold.
Did you guys have a center wood brace in the center of? Yeah,
Oh
see,
yeah.
yeah, we had a lady in the group ask about one that she posted. It looked awesome, but I was like, I really think you need to put a center brace. I was like, I've seen them
Yeah.
cave in, and we've used those, just the hoop, for temporary shelters for pigs and goats and whatnot. You know, get the hoops staked in with a T-post and put a tarp over it so it makes an arch. And it works until it gets snow or an animal gets on it.
Yeah.
So I really think, yeah, the brace, if you did a brace, I think it'd be great.
So the one he made at the old house, it was really good, and he took
Conduit.
Conduit.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Just
he
like
bit
made
the
an
conduit.
A-frame.
I know what you're talking about.
But the heavy part of it was the bottom, because he used like so many 2x4s.
That sounds
it
like
was
the Johnson Suskovich, or however you say his name.
It was probably yeah.
So was the bottom kind of like a squared rectangle, and
Yeah.
then you had your yeah, that's his style that he does. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
It worked really well. Like I said, we contained everything in there. I'm pretty sure it would have held up to the cow. Like it was very strong, but
That's awesome.
you definitely need 2 people to move it at least. Maybe
Well,
a
now
tractor.
you got a tractor. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you don't need people no more.
Yeah, true.
Tractor makes life so much easier.
I do think raising them on pasture in a tractor is like the best way to do it, because once you move them, like the grass is all dead and it's terrible, and then a month or two later, like that's the greenest part of your pasture. It does a really good job at it.
Mm-hmm. So are there any things that, I heard you did some hugelkultur type stuff. Is there any kind of gardening that you guys are going to try this year that you haven't tried in the past?
So I don't know what you think, but I don't know your opinion, I guess, but we did the thing where you add like the wood to the bottom and then put soil on top of it. We did that some at the old house just to save on soil because we had really clay soil there. But we did that here in an IBC tote, so we'll probably keep doing that. We have a tree that he dropped that's kind of decaying. And then also he did some aquaponics at the old house, and we planned to do that last year, and I think we'll expand on that more like in an outside setting, hopefully.
Yeah.
So aquaponics or hydroponics?
Both.
Oh, so what kind of fish did you use?
I just experimented with goldfish at the old house, yeah.
But it was like really small, so we would like to do it
50
larger
gallons.
scale.
Yeah.
Cool.
She wants to do like shrimp.
Yeah,
like
freshwater prawns.
prawns.
There are actual grants for people to be shrimp farmers. Like,
That's cool.
they use just the Intex swimming pools and raise shrimp in them. It's crazy. I seen that. I was like, what?
And he had done a lot of research on tilapia, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen some people even use catfish.
Catfish, yeah.
I can see that. I mean, really, you just need a fish.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe different fish put out different amounts of ammonia and whatnot, but at the end of the day, it's just a fish in there.
Yep.
Yeah. At the old house, he had these aquariums with goldfish, and they were set up in front of these French doors that we had, and he had these eggplants growing in our basement that were like the biggest eggplants I've ever seen in my life. So,
That's awesome.
yeah, he did a good job. Is there anything?
Did you add anything to the water or anything?
No.
It was just all the fish. Yeah, that's cool.
But hydroponics is a little harder because we did that kind of not so large scale, but we had stuff at the farmer's market that was hydroponically grown, and I don't know what you think, but I think that mixing the chemicals is harder than just like letting the fish do it.
There's so many nutrients, like so many different brands, and
you have to get it
the
just
fish is
right.
easier.
I could imagine you could just accidentally too many drops of something and just wipe it out, probably.
Yep.
Because that stuff's really potent, right? It's like really condensed.
Yeah, it's super concentrated.
And it's very expensive.
Yeah.
So you don't want to mess it up.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what you guys get done this year. I know you got plans for a bigger garden. bigger.
I think a lot of it won't happen, to be honest. We just need to do a really good job at not overexerting ourselves and like finding some kind of balance, but those things might not be like a this year plan, but eventually we hope to do that on this property, I think.
There you go. That's cool. I appreciate you guys taking a moment to talk to us and tell us about your...
I don't know what that is.
There's a deer in the woods,
Yeah.
I think. Maybe. A deer wants to be in the interview. The only other thing I usually like to ask people is, along your homesteading journey, like, what do you think, like, your biggest regret would have been? And I'll just go ahead and say, everyone, and us included, has always said, I wish I would have started sooner. Like, we wish we would have got going at this sooner in our lives and, seen where we were now had we started sooner and went through the learning curves and the trials and errors and whatnot. What have you guys, any regrets along your journey or anything you may have wanted to change along the way?
Nothing I can think of, except for just, pacing ourselves and not. I think we started at a pretty good time, at the earliest time that we probably could have. I wish that we would have bought different land, our first house, because our neighbors are really close and there was land disputes. Every time we tried to do something, we had somebody knocking on our door. Then we spent a bunch of money on a survey, and we had to clear a bunch of land because a tornado had came through and a bunch of it was wooded. So I think my main thing is that first 2 acres that we bought, I wish it was like more suitable for what we were doing. Everything we built was on a hill. And so he learned a lot, I think, from building stuff on these crazy elevations, and he learned how to drop some pretty large trees. So for me, I just wish that we would have bought 2 acres that was a square with a house in the middle and didn't have a lot of trees.
I think they make properties like that.
Yeah, but
I haven't seen any for sale.
I wish we would
better
have
land.
Yeah,
I got you, better land. Yeah, because I was talking to a buddy about some land that's fairly affordable, but the land is just really rocky. It's the top of a hill. And it's like, dude, you're gonna spend so much time just trying to get that soil healthy and in a state that you'll be able to grow. And then with it being on a hill, every time you get something built up, it's gonna come a nice storm and it's gonna wash it all down the hill. It's like, man.
Yep.
So I think I may have talked him out of that land. I hope so. But yeah, I get it. Yeah, the land. I mean, you got so much you're trying to juggle and fight to be able to get off the ground and go. And you know, land being an issue too would make it a lot harder. I could see that complicating things for sure. Yeah. Well, guys and gals, we appreciate this interview.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah,
Heck
thanks
yeah.
for coming and hanging out again. We like having you guys here.
Yeah, it's always a good time getting up here. Wish we could do it more often, but you know, we're all so busy.
Yeah.
It's understandable, absolutely. But we like to end every video with saying until next time, y'all, keep dreaming.